I can't believe it, but it's been 1 year since we got this 2023 Audi S5, and today I'm going to give you guys an update. How is the maintenance, driving, and how has this car lived up to its expectations? This is Shep's Garage. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. First, if you're new to the channel, this is the first time seeing my face on your screen, don't forget to please click that subscribe button down below for more awesome market, GTI, and other car content on this channel. I'm trying to become a full-time YouTuber, and I cannot do without your guys' support. If you like my channel and watch a lot of my videos, feel free to subscribe. It's free, and it doesn't cost you anything, and you're helping me by achieving a dream by, like I said, becoming a full-time YouTuber. Anyways, back to the S5. Now, just a quick brief overview. Now, we leased this 2023 Audi S5 about a year ago as an added fifth car to our family. Long story short, my mom picked out this car because she's always wanted a red Audi sporty coupe. However, long story short, this is now my dad's car, so he has been driving it for the past like 3, 4, 5 months, ever since, well, long story, but I'm not going to get into this video. Today I'm going to tell you guys basically my thoughts, what I think of this car, what it's been like to live with, what has the maintenance, driving experience been after 1 year of ownership. So let's start off with the first thing that I'm going to get over quickly, and that's maintenance. Now, this car only has about 9,000 miles on it after 1 year of ownership, and as you can tell with a car this new, we haven't really done anything mechanically with this car. It has been very reliable. This car, it has the 3-liter V6 engine that a lot of Audi S models have, and it's been fairly reliable, and I don't anticipate it breaking down anytime soon. I mean, Audi's been making this engine since 2017, and it has just been an amazing engine to, well, live with, drive, etc. However, there have been two things we did have to fix in this car in under a year. First of all, I did talk about in the last 6-month update that the sunroof was making a really loud rattling. We got a whole new sunroof in, and that fixed it, so we're good on that front. And as well as when my mom was driving this car, someone hit her in a parking garage. There was a dent right here, and as you can see, it has officially been fixed. And on camera, it's kind of strange, but I think they painted this the wrong red, but it doesn't really matter because it's a lease. But when you go far away, you can barely tell. It's only up close in the shade where you can kind of tell. At least I think it's the wrong red, but maybe it's because this is plastic and this is metal. But anyways, so maintenance, this is amazing. So far so good. I hope it stays that way, because for the last while my dad hasn't had the best of luck with Audis. If you know, you know. But this one so far has been pretty reliable, which is awesome. For daily driving and the driving experience of this car after a year, my basic thoughts are that I didn't think I was going to like this car very much, because this was our first Audi S car, sport car, Audi sport car, and I honestly didn't have much hope in it, just because I thought the S was like, you know, nothing too crazy. I thought the RS was the big difference, because I've driven an A5 before. I've never driven an S5, but I've driven an RS5. This car has changed my opinion after a year that this car is the perfect blend between worlds. You do not need an RS5 if you're going to be daily driving this car. The S5 is more than enough because it uses the same engine as the RS5, it's just detuned. This car has been amazing, so much fun to daily drive. I've gotten to drive this a handful of times, and it's truly been one of the best driving experience Audis on the market, in my opinion, that's like somewhat like obtainable, if that makes sense. Handling is great. I love how in dynamic mode everything firms up, so it completely feels like a raw sports car, and then when you put it in cover mode, it just feels like an A5, and it's just a great, nice daily cruiser. What I also love too is that this car has the optional RS sport exhaust resonator or whatever. It's basically a factory resonator delete, so this car sounds amazing, and you get a couple little burbles and pops on decel around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. It sounds, there's nothing like it from an Audi. It sounds so good. Now for practicality, for what it is, this car is actually somewhatly decently practical for a, well, I would call this a sports car, because even though this isn't a Sportback, this car still has a decent trunk space, it not being a convertible as well. You still do have a decent amount of trunk space. Sorry, this is all my dad's stuff, but you can see not too bad in terms of trunk space. And what's also nice is you can fold the seats down here, and what's really nice is that you basically have the trunk combining with the back seat space here with it folded down. Let me just fold a seat down so you can kind of get a good idea on what this looks like. And you basically have a ton of room back here for what it is. I know it's a coupe, but for what it is, it's somewhatly decently practical. We've had to cram this full back for stuff before. We went to Martha's Vineyard for 2 weeks, and it fit everything perfectly fine, and we still had plenty of room on the floor and in the front seats too. Now this is where we get to the title of this video. Did we make a mistake? And I'm not talking about this car, because I don't think we made a mistake with getting an S5, because I think we did the right move with getting an S5. What I think we made a mistake on is getting a coupe instead of a Sportback. Hear me out for just a second. Now, when I asked my parents this question, they said coupe all day. However, I want to know what your thoughts of this question in the comment section down below. Coupe versus Sportback, when I tell you guys my reasoning of why I think we should have went with a Sportback. Now, this car behind me, the S5 Coupe, weighs in at 3,850 pounds, whereas the S5 Sportback weighs in at 3,950 pounds. Now, why am I giving you guys the gross weight quotes? Well, the thing is, when we got this car, I expected that the Coupe would be much more fun to drive than the Sportback, because it obviously has a shorter wheelbase. It doesn't have doors here, right? And no electric tailgate with glass. So obviously it would be significantly lighter. So I drove it, and it's a great driving car. Then I got the chance to drive an S5 Sportback, and that car drove completely the same as this car. It drove literally just like it, even though it had 2 extra doors and tailgate. So where I'm going with this is that for around the same price, they're equal in price too. They're like maybe $400 or $900 off from each other. For a little bit more money, you can get a little bit more back seat room and way more trunk space in basically the exact same car, same engine, same drivetrain, same everything, but it's just a quote-unquote better car maybe. Now, why do I think the S5, just at least for us, is a better car? Well, if you have a family or it's going to be transporting people around a lot, I highly recommend the Sportback for this reason. Now when we were looking at this car, once again, you kind of have to live with it for a while to kind of understand the back seat of this car, but these sports seats are pretty thick when they come to weight. So when you step in the back here, this is what the back seat looks like, by the way. So this is what the back seat looks like, and there's no middle seat expected for a coupe, but it also feels like you are kind of trapped in here. You also don't get a lot of headroom either. I mean, I'm 5'5", and you know, I'm barely cutting across here. And let me just scoot the seat back, right? The leg room is not the best, and you honestly just feel trapped back here. Like, you don't have window controls. It feels very dark. It just doesn't feel very nice. Well, it's a nice back seat, but it's not like in terms of nice compared to a Sportback back seat. And in my opinion, if you're going to be using this car day to day, it's a pain to have the person in the front get out, then fold the seat forward, and then just trying to snake out of this. Oh God, because it's a coupe and not a Sportback. Because these cars, the Sportback and the coupe, basically way close to the same, have the same horsepower, same drivetrain, basically the same car. If you have a family, I highly recommend the Sportback. I feel like that's where the mistake we made with this. Now, my parents say coupe because they think the coupe looks better, and I don't know. I mean, it's a great looking car. I kind of like the fastback look of the Sportback. I don't know if I'm being too practical minded here, but I feel like for us, with the amount of times we've used this car for things, I wish we got a Sportback. The person that wants a coupe you go ahead and buy a coupe, but you just don't, if you don't use the back seat very much or hardly at all, that's where I would see going to get a coupe. But for family, I wouldn't buy a coupe, and that's why I suspect why Audi has discontinued the coupe and the convertible, because the Sportback here has done so well, and I feel like the amount of production that they do from coupes to Sportbacks, they do way less coupes compared to Sportbacks. That also reminds me, if you want to buy an S5 cab or convertible, or coupe or convertible, now is the time to do it. 2000 model year 2025 is when they're discontinuing the coupe and convertible S5. So if you are in the market for a coupe S5 or A5 or a convertible A5 or S5, highly recommend buying one now, because you will not be able to buy a new one for very long, as they just announced the new A5 Sportback and S5 Sportback. They're only making Sportbacks from now on, no coupes and convertibles, which is kind of sad because, well, some people actually like this body style. I want you guys' opinion in the comment section down below. Coupe or Sportback? Because of my sort of observations here, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts or which one you went with. Anyways, that is our 1 year update with our S5. Absolutely love it. No complaints from me other than coupe versus Sportback. But I will see you guys in the next video. So be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Comment down below any other videos you guys want to see. I'm always open to new suggestions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.